Thank you for staying with us. Now, to round up a day on relationship, we have teacher, trainer, and educator Toju, who is here today to talk to us about third parties in relationships and also, of course, marriage, which is also a part of that. Hello, Toju. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing?
Very well. And you?
I'm great. I'm good. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're talking about third parties in relationships and marriages and all of that, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, so to clear out any sort of ambiguity, let's make it clear. What exactly do you mean by a third party in a relationship or a marriage?
All right. So a third party is basically any person, or it could be a thing, that has power or potential power to influence the decision making or navigation of the course of the relationship or marriage, either on the side of both parties or just one party.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I like what you said. You said that has the power to influence. So you
Yes.
was saying now that if you are a party that cannot influence, I can't really take that as a third party per se.
Well, the person or the thing, as the case may be, can try, but if the person or thing has no influence over you, you are more unlikely to go with that decision.
Okay.
And so it wouldn't influence your relationship or marriage.
All right. So what are the most likely third parties that we see in relationships and marriages?
Well, unfortunately, they're usually people close enough to us, because people close enough have the opportunity to influence us even more. So they could be friends, they could be parents, parents could be in-laws as well. And they could be books or things that we've listened to over time, even before we got married or got into the relationship.
Okay, so looking at it this way, let's get straight into it. Are there any advantages? If there are, can we know? And then what are the disadvantages of third parties in relationships?
Okay, so I'm not one of the people who would say absolutely no no's to third parties in relationships. I do understand and believe that when you're married, you become one, and there's a reason you have left your parents to become one and make all those decisions. However, I believe there are a couple of times when, especially in marriage, third party interference, I don't want to call it interference, influence, comes in. So number one, when you have an issue that keeps coming up over and over and over again, and you have both tried to talk about it, pray about it, dialogue about it, give it time and all of that, and it's still coming up, you might want to contact someone who you consider a mentor, someone better experienced in that field. Of course, if there's any case of abuse, as the case may be, you will need someone to step in so you don't suffer alone in silence. And there's just some perspectives that you do not have that you need someone else to see and help you with.
Okay, so you're saying that in some circumstances, a third party could actually be a pro, an advantage to a relationship.
Yes, but it's very important who this third party is.
Okay.
People would prescribe a neutral person, someone who doesn't even know you, so can be very objective about the matter, right? And on the other hand, sometimes I would prefer someone who knows me, so I know this person actually loves me and is concerned about me. However, the issue with that can be because this person is actually very connected to you. The person might not forget the issue long after you, the boyfriend or girlfriend, fiance, husband or wife, has forgotten about the issue, and might carry on that issue against your spouse when you yourself have forgiven and moved on from it. So it's very important that we get mature and trusted people, or just go for the option of someone who's totally neutral.
Who's totally neutral. Now, that is an optimal case. It is not that case at all times. In fact, to be said, we have, let's go straight, let's address some issues. For instance, a man who would tell you that, look, I was trained my whole life by my mom. My mom was there for me. Maybe my dad wasn't there. I grew up under my mom. She taught me this, and my wife can't just have the say over my mom and all of that. That is a very, very practical example that we see in a lot of lives. What happens in such a situation where a wife is, that kind of situation plays out? What happens there?
Okay, so this is where I would really talk to people who are not yet married, where you need to discuss the things that are most important. Apart from what have you eaten this morning, what dress are you going to work today, and all of that. These are things that actually matter. So this is what, like I mentioned last week, talking about pre-decisions. What are we going to do if such a case should arise? You preempt these kind of things. And in your courtship, you would have seen the decision-making patterns of the man, and if he's dependent on third parties for making relationships. So if that has come up, you should already know that this is a sign. However, if you're already married and this is happening, You have to pray about it, I believe, dialogue as much as possible and pray, because there's nothing God cannot do. And then if he has to talk to them, then maybe you, for your own emotional relief and mental sanity, can also talk to a third party that is trusted and see how you can meet him halfway.
All right. Now, let me put you into another scenario again. Another third party, which is very, very prevalent in these areas, is religious leaders, right? Religious leaders. We know it's happened, and a number of times they have actually proved to actually be a wonderful kind of third party. But in this case,
Yes.
we've seen cases where they're also human beings. They could also give advice that is not optimal. How do you deal with a case where a third party is a religious leader, either an imam, a pastor, or somebody you respect in your religious circles and all of that? How do you deal in those kind of issues if maybe the advice or the influence the person is giving at that time is not what you think that relationship or that marriage needs?
Okay, so this is a bit of a topic, but I'll try to be as brief as possible.
Please do.
First of all, I believe, as a person of faith, for example, I'm a Christian. I really believe that I need to study the Word of God for myself and know what it actually says. So if someone is guiding me, my pastor is guiding me or teaching me, it must correspond with the Word of God. So if I've not seen it in the Word, I shouldn't just go flying up with everything that he or she says. Like you have rightly said, sometimes they don't intentionally try to lead you astray. But that happens. So if I know the Word of God for myself, then that is good. Second of all, I must realize, wife or husband, that at the end of the day, my marriage is more important for me to focus on than what a religious leader has said. And usually sometimes it's one party, I don't want to say man or woman, running up with what the pastor has said. But what you agree in your marriage per time is what is more important. You shouldn't put the word of your husband or wife, put the word of the pastor or the imam over your husband and your wife. So those two things I think are very important.
All right, wonderful. So you're in that case where a religious person involved, I love what you just said, knowing it for yourself. But let me be a little bit more pragmatic and practical here. A lot of people depend on these people or on these leaders as the standard for the word of God. So you find it happens a lot where people feel that, look, this person has said it, God has said it. You know, let's look at that situation. So not many people are actually that way, that you say they know it for themselves. You know, as a religious person, they tend to look up to these people as the standard in their religion.
Yeah. So again, for me, like the Bible will say, all flesh is grass at the end of the day. So Jesus is the one for us as Christians, and I guess you would have that in your own religion, who is our example, who is the perfection of God. And so everything he does is perfect. So while we can look to them to guide us, because the truth about it is that pastors, evangelists, teachers have been given to us as gifts, yes. But we must always weigh it in the light of Jesus or God, who is our perfect example. So I think really what you need to do is really know God for yourself, because at the end of the day, your pastor, your imam is not going to live with you in your house. If things go south, they're going to be in their own homes, and the best they can do is tell you story and keep praying for you. But you're the one that's going to be left to deal with the hurt and the brunt of it all. It really still boils down to you knowing God and making your own marriage your own culture and responsibility, and not be dependent. It doesn't have to be a pastor. When you seek counsel, let the counselor counsel you and step back. And you also need to step back, take what they've said, do the work, and don't be dependent. Don't let it become an addiction.
All right, so I love what you're saying. To round up, we're saying that in any situation, the effect of third party is kind of relative. There are times when you can get it and use it, but at the end, it still depends on you. But it is necessary at times, and at some other times.
At times, well, apparently, but yes, at times.
All right, thank you very much, Toju. It was quite. I love where you came from. Because we were talking about this earlier. Some people also put up posts on social media. There are a lot of people that believe in entirely no, but I think that what you've just said now, this video should be available, and people will understand that in some situations, it's actually necessary. Thank you very much, Toju.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. I know you want to say something, but hey, sorry about that.